It's New Year's resolution time. Hi, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Carly, and I'm on a journey to lose 80 pounds. I know. Lately there's been a stigma around New Year's resolutions, and mainly the purpose for that is because people tend to wait for Monday or New Year's or this one day I'm going to start. And I don't think New Year's resolutions are that bad to be making and keeping as long as you keep on track and you know that what your resolution is indicating is something that you actually care about and you want to achieve that year. A lot of people, what they do is that they treat New Year's resolutions, instead of treating them as resolutions or as goals, they treat them like wishes. For example, one of my resolutions is to lose the rest of the weight by the end of 2021. Now, the difference between wishing that and actually making a resolution or a goal towards it is putting a plan in place. What I mean by that is if I sit here and say, oh, I wish I could lose 80 pounds in 12 months, but I don't change my eating, I don't work out, I just sit in the couch and wish for it, that's not gonna happen. I know, there's the law of attraction, there's manifesting certain things you want to do, but those things require some effort on your part. You can't just assume the universe is going to bring you something and you're not going to work towards it. Bringing the resolution into play for that would be the plan you have set for that. For example, on that same goal, I plan to be on a calorie deficit each day, which for me is 1,000 calories. I know that sounds like a lot for a lot of people, but because of my PCOS, because of the issues that I come across, I wasn't kidding on my first video when I said I have to bust my ass to lose any weight. Anytime I've successfully been able to lose weight is when I've been 1,000 calorie deficit for that day. So I'm just gonna continue with that for the year, which requires me to add in a workout every day to help supplement that 1,000 calories. I'm not going to burn off 1,800 calories in a day and then only eat 800. The second mistake people make is that they lose sight of the resolution or the goal. They set a resolution that's not really important to them. It's just something that would be like, oh, that would be nice. So they go full blown steam the first, second, third month, and then they lose motivation. They start thinking more like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal, or they forget to go to the gym one day, then 3 days and 5 days, because it's not that important to them just yet. And so the best way to beat this, aside from setting goals and resolutions that you actually want to achieve and you think you can achieve, is to set up habits or patterns that will eventually just become part of your day-to-day without you thinking about it. My second resolution comes into play in this. I plan on creating an e-commerce business this year. And so what I've done is that within my schedule, my daily work schedule and my weekend schedule, is that I've set time aside so I can work on that. So I can brainstorm ideas, create a business, maybe a website, learn about how to do these things. And that's just going to be part of my day. It's just for this hour or 2 hours each day, I'm going to focus on business-like activities. I've actually made a daily schedule that includes all the things that I want to do. So I've got when I want to work out, when I want to write a book that I'm wanting to write, when I want to learn more about finances, when I want to watch TV, just different things that will help me with a schedule so that I can stay on track and those resolutions won't go away. Next is something that I myself have struggled with most of my life, and that is sharing your goals. I was speaking to a friend the other day who asked me what my goals were, and it was the first time, I believe ever, that I've voiced what I wanted to do in the next year. And what happens is if you keep those goals to yourself, no one can hold you accountable. Not that that friend is going to hold you accountable, but something is triggered in your brain that then says, oh, well, I think I have to go forth and achieve this goal. Otherwise, this person is going to know that I didn't complete something. Even though they've probably forgotten what you told them, that's not the point. It gets your brain to vocalize what you want, and it helps set up those patterns to get to that goal. In the spirit of my last statement, I want to share with you guys some of the things on my list. Now, the list is way too long, and it's because it's detailed. So, for example, what I mentioned earlier with the weight loss is I've got losing weight, but under that, I've got drinking a gallon of water, eating pescatarian, 1,000 calorie deficit, 1,200 calorie diet, so on and so on and forth. And so it's the actual goal list is too long to share, but I'll share some key points of what I want to accomplish in 2021. As I mentioned, I've got weight loss, which is a given. Considering this is a weight loss / weight process channel, I want to read at least one book a month. Audible counts, and so does another one of my resolutions, which is to read at least 5 books for Audible from the side gig that I've started. I want to start the e-commerce business. I want to fully fund my emergency fund. Based on my calculations from my primary paycheck, my actual job, I could save about $4,000 this year. And that's just, paying the bills I'm paying now, not making any changes, I could save $4,000. So I have to get into this mindset of how can I grow my side hustles so that I can earn that additional $7,000 that I want for saving and for investing. Speaking of investing, that is another resolution of mine. I want to invest in stocks and index funds that actually have minimum requirement investments. And so I want to save up for those. I want to finish writing a book that I've been working on for a couple of years. So I've set time aside for that as well. I want to start a podcast. I'm not sure what the podcast is going to be about, but I've got all this equipment for podcasts because of the Audible reading business. Because I've already invested in these items, I want to use them for other things. And so a podcast is the most natural second step for that equipment. I want to have a full self-care routine to do every Sunday. And finally, I want to journal and meditate each day. So those are some of my resolutions. As I mentioned, I've got many more that I've written out and kind of tried to focus on. I also like to create vision boards because again, it's not a wishing well. It's not something where it's like, oh, it's up on a board, so it's gonna come someday. It's more of a vision board is more of a reminder that you get to look at every day, and it helps keep your brain in focus to what you're trying to accomplish. So let's say you have a house up on the board, and it's not like this house is magically going to be yours one day. It makes you remember every day, like, hey, that's right, I want a house, so I have to do overtime, I have to do a side hustle, I have to do this, I have to save, I have to, grow my credit, whatever the fact it may be. Whenever you look at that picture of that house, that's what your brain is thinking. So that's the magic of the vision boards. If you've never done one, I'd be happy to show you. It's something that I do probably every year. I do put up more ideas up once something is accomplished. I'll take it down and put something else up. But that's something for some other time. So don't be afraid to make resolutions. Don't let people shame you into thinking, oh, because it's the new year, you're gonna do the cliche resolutions. That's irrelevant. Just make sure that they're important and there's something that you want to accomplish and you feel you can accomplish it. The last thing you want is to be discouraged because something is too big and too unattainable for that year. And then your mindset goes back to, oh, well, nothing can be, like, I'm not going to do anything anyway, so why bother? So what are your goals and resolutions for 2021? Put them down in the comment below and we'll share them, read them, and then it can help you get more motivated towards accomplishing them. As always, subscribe, like, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time I post on Weight Loss Wednesdays. Be kind to each other and especially yourselves.